My rap name is Spilly.
Oh!
Nice.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, probably
Can
not
you
go.
spit some bars? Or?
Well, I got a 6-foot wingspan. And
Oh!
probably knock your beer over. So it's Spilly.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C, Certified Brewhead.
And I am Scott Beer, cold beer enthusiast.
And welcome to episode 43 of Beer and Other Shit, the podcast. And today, we're here in Stowe, Vermont, with Will from Idletyme Brewing, mate.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Thank you so
having us,
much.
man.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you very much. This place is awesome. Super cool.
We had a beautiful drive up here. Vermont's a
super
gorgeous
nice.
state, and Stowe is a lovely town. We're very happy to be here and to be drinking your beer.
These bad boys.
And we're brewing today too, so you're getting it. You're getting the olfactory overwhelming, making the double box.
Yeah.
a double buck.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yep.
Is that a seasonal or is that like a?
It is. We've been open a couple years, and I think it's only the fourth time we've made it. Ties up the tanks a little bit longer. It's the hardest brew to lauter, so that's when we're rinsing the sugars out from the grain, because we've boiled some of the grains. It's the viscosity changes, and it can be a bugger to really
get
Kind of sticks it
rinse
up
it,
and get it all out there.
Yeah, so if it usually takes us 2 hours, we're probably looking at 3
Cool.
to rinse the sugars out.
Right.
And the boil is straightforward.
And that's,
I would say more like 4.
More like 4 hours. From the guy who probably does
From
it,
the
right?
working man.
Yeah.
is that, and you brew on this pilot system? Is this a pilot system here?
No, that's our full.
I was going to ask, this is all your production comes right out of here,
Yep,
right?
it all comes out of here. It's
Awesome.
it's 10 hectoliters or 8.5 barrels. It is the nicest brew house that I've worked on, not only aesthetically because
Yeah, it's beautiful.
because
You
it's
got the
copper clad.
Copper, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wax on, wax off, grasshopper. You just when you polish it, is
You got shiny, pretty things.
Yeah, but on the inside, it's basically a state of the art German brew house.
Right.
Shrunk down to 10 hectoliters.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's enough to keep up with the demand.
Yeah, I mean, we only sell in Vermont. We're small, we're artisanal. It lets us make a lot of different brews, and really we're not limited by our brew house as much as we're in a house, restaurant. So
Yeah.
we have limited space downstairs.
Right.
So I do have 5 fermenters. So I mean, if I had 10 fermenters, I could brew a lot more. So.
Okay. Would you consider expanding, or is it something that you have?
Yeah, it'd be a little bit challenging. We'd have to, go to a different direction in the brewery where we had some ceiling height
Right.
down the
okay.
basement.
So
It's decent down there, but it's I don't have 10, 14 foot ceilings. I've got 10 feet, or 9 feet top.
So your lineup of beers, is this a seasonal thing, or do you always run the same beers, or do you have a few consistent ones and do some kind of funky one-offs and stuff?
We certainly ride the train of making certain beers consistently and making them throughout the year. But we also have a series called Keep It Weird, where we kind of mix it up.
yeah, you can say something.
You're good, man.
Okay. Should I add the extra hectoliters? We only had a total of 13.
Yeah, so just talking with Josh.
Yeah, that is very real talk.
Josh Waddell, my assistant brewer. We're making a double bock today, which will be about an 18 Plato beer.
Okay.
After we mash in and we can step mash because we mash into the kettle and we can raise the temperature and go through all saccharification over a 30-degree temperature range.
Okay.
And after we break down most of the starch into sugar, we leave a third in the kettle and boil that.
Right.
And that's
okay.
where that intense...
Get the water out and get
that's
the
where
ABV up. And
it doesn't get the ABV up. It gets the melanoids get a lot stronger.
okay.
So it's kind of a caramelization.
Nice.
And it's more of a body thing.
Okay.
More than anything.
Right.
Sweet. Well, we have the lineup of beers right now.
Oh, yeah, let's
So
start.
let's start on these ones. So we start far
This is
right
awesome,
here.
by the way. I love
Yeah,
the
man,
it's on a
presentation.
steam. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's pretty
Super
cool.
sexy.
I like it.
Very appropriate. So the first one is a Hellsbrook lager.
Right, so on play on words, we've got a great ski trail, a river that goes down the center of Mount Mansfield, where Stowe ski area is, and it's called Hellsbrook. So
Get
we
like
called
cider off that.
it Hellisbrook.
Yeah. Okay.
We're getting a little fruitiness from the yeast. It is a
Yeah.
lager. We prefer it to be super clean and dry. When I make beers, I generally walk the line of that malt sweetness and the
Yeah.
bitterness, where some people like to be more firmly bitter. I like to have it just be perfectly bitter, and I usually bitter beers up over time.
Yeah, this is cool. This is not a style I usually gravitate towards, but I'm really liking this. It has a unique flavor, like almost like a bit of apple cider and sweetness to it, which I like.
Yeah, it has a certain body to it, which makes it more interesting.
And mouthfeel, like a
Yep.
Yeah, very much
smooth
so.
mouthfeel. Yeah.
That's the super malty, so that's fantastic. Well, your position here, so owner, brewmaster.
I am the brewmaster.
The brewmaster.
Yeah, I am a hired gun.
Hi,
Oh, okay, cool.
I love it. Can you give us some history? Like, we found that a lot of our listeners and viewers really enjoy hearing the stories of how people got to where they are in the beer world. And being a brewmaster is kind of like, where a lot of people aspire to be at. Can you, like, speak through your
Sure.
your
Well,
story?
I figured out that I loved brewing a while ago, quite a while ago.
Okay.
So I graduated from University of New Hampshire with a German major.
Nice.
And, when I wasn't playing music or playing Ultimate Frisbee or whatever, my roommate said, do you want to make some beer? I made some beer with my dad, and he started me out brewing. And because we were young and unemployed and the skiing might be better somewhere else, we ended up both going out west. I ended up in Utah, and he ended up in Wyoming and then Utah.
Right.
And when the powder skiing wasn't fantastic, we were making beer.
Right. It's a good life.
So that's where it started, and it just, each year we collected more stuff and made more beer, and most of the time we were doing it from all grain. So we were starting from scratch and pretty much doing what we're doing today, going through a step mash and really converting all that we could out of the grain. And I just happened to try to find brewing ingredients cheaper by going to a local brew pub.
Right.
One of the ski patrollers knew the head brewer at a small brewery in Salt Lake called Squatters. And at the time, homebrewing was illegal in Utah. It was hilarious.
They're crazy out there.
But you could go and buy grain a pound at a time in a little Ziploc bag.
Oh, wow.
But with the amount of beer we were making, I was
a lot of
getting 20 Ziploc bags to make a batch of beer. So I was like, well, maybe I could try to buy a bag of grain and make some beer. And just so happened I'd been living in Montana and going back and forth, and made a beer with some cherries, and it was just gorgeous, beautiful red beer. And walked by one day and said, oh, here's a beer I made. And they said, do you want to interview for a job?
Wow.
And I was like,
Just like that.
okay.
Yeah, I do.
So, because, their busy time is the winter there when they had basketball close by. Downtown Salt Lake is busiest in the winter when it's not as hot. Okay. And the Jazz was playing, and they just filled the brew pub. And because I had some experience but not a lot, I got a job at even better brewery. I was up in Wyoming for almost 7 years.
Right.
In Jackson, Wyoming, Jackson Hole, so at Snake River. And then I left Snake River and started a brewery in New Hampshire. I was there for 12 years. And
Was that your brewery or?
no, hired gun again.
Okay. What was that brewery called?
It's called the Moat Mountain Smokehouse and Brewing Company.
Wow, that's
Say that on the phone when somebody calls. Your
Was there an abbreviation? Was it an MM?
Yeah, just be known as.
Yeah.
It got to be known as the Moat.
Right,
So it's
there
like-
you go.
I like that.
Yeah,
Much easier.
Or Moat. If you like to say,
Moat?
if you like to say Boat instead of boat.
Okay, I don't know many people
never
that
heard
use
that.
Oh,
Is that a?
No, it's known as Moat. No, it's known as the Moat for sure.
Okay, I like that. That's dope. So you
And
ran
then-
that for 12?
Yep, ran that for 12, and they were able to grow and build a production brewery, which was awesome.
Very cool.
Self-distributing brew pub, and basically we're doing a similar thing here.
Okay.
Where we self-distribute only in Vermont.
Right.
And we got a small scale packaging. We just fill 2 bottles at a time, 22-ounce bottles, and we fill kegs, and we've got a beautiful outside deck, beer garden area, and the pub, and we're on the road going to the ski areas. So
Cool.
Perfect. So it's,
you hardly have to turn on the brakes.
Hence après ski, I guess.
There you go.
yes, sir.
Exactly.
and you were saying this building has some pretty cool history.
It sure does. So it was way back when, I don't know what year, but it used to be called Camp Idletyme.
Right.
Where you could do a couple things. You could get a cabin and stay along the river. The river that comes down from the mountain is right out back. They, of course, made apple cider. They sold gas. They did whatever they could
little bit of everything.
to take care of the people that were coming up here to camp and check it out. So
Right.
that's where the name came from, Idletime.
Right.
It's the name of our flagship double IPA. It's called Idletime.
Right.
And because IPAs are so popular, we've got a second double IPA called Idletyme. They're both 8%, but one is Simcoe based and another one has mostly experimental hops.
Oh, right.
But I'm sure you're thirsty by now. I'm
on to the
thirsty
next.
just
So the
looking at
next
them.
one
So
is the Bohemian Pilsner.
a Pilsner. So it's a dry hopped Pilsner with what we like to call, it has Saaz in it. It has some Hallertau in it. Really nice.
Tastes like that, dry hop.
Yeah, kind of grassy, sort of.
Yeah.
Grassy. That's
We
the
know
word.
those as noble hops.
Yes, of course. I'm getting more hops than I normally get off like just a regular Pilsner, which I appreciate. I
Oh
like
my
that.
god.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fantastic.
it's more hop forward than I'm used to, but
no, this is
fantastic.
better. Hops,
Yeah.
more hop forward. Any beer is better.
Yeah, as long as for me, as long as you can still taste the malt.
The malt, which
I
is
think
great.
that's great.
It's definitely not overkill, but
Oh, that's great. I really like that. I find that these beers, like the lighter style of beers, are probably almost harder to make. To make them
absolutely.
crisp,
To
to
make
really
good,
get those
right.
flavors through.
Yeah, they're more naked.
Yeah.
If there's a little off flavor, or if you're getting a little fruitiness, like from the first beer, which prefer that wasn't in there, but it's something flavored. Sometimes when the yeast gets on older in generations, you'll get some fruity characteristics.
Yeah.
Where in a lager, that's not what I strive for.
Right.
But
That could be our
it's what you
culture.
taste and what happens. So
yeah.
Right.
So we replace the yeast and we move on. That's
So I see kind of a lot of like German style beers. Is that you said you were a German major, and
Yeah,
does that
so-
have an
right.
influence on your?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when I was 15, I was over there drinking beer. You could throw
15.
Yeah.
I mean, 21.
No, there's no drinking age over there. So
Okay.
at
No,
that
there's-
age,
Oh, right. In,
No
right.
drinking age. Is that really?
Yeah.
in German?
yeah, Germany, yeah. So you could go to a beer automat, which is like a Coke machine, but it's a
Yeah.
beer machine, and you threw in 50 cents,
Yeah.
and a beer came out, and it
Nice.
had an opener, and you popped it open, and you
Drink it like a pop.
had a beer,
Yeah.
just like, I'm thirsty, have a beer.
That's the best.
So
that's the world we want to live in.
Yeah,
I
that's.
definitely got
Can
spoiled
we make
early
that
on.
here?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
Okay, so this place has a German influence as well then? in
Right.
that
So
sense?
our beers, I love to make lagers, and we have from the beginning, similar to the last brewery I was at. It's more of a reflection of me than the owner because I kind of have artistic license, which is
Right.
nice. Love making the lagers. So what do we have on today for lagers? We got the Helles,
Yep.
the Pilsner, the Dunkel, and which we haven't got to yet. And today we're brewing a double bock.
That's
We
crazy.
also make a Märzen Oktoberfest.
Yes, which is great. That's what I had.
That's one you had in the past. So
Fun.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Yes.
not enough good lagers being made. Everyone's very ale happy and IPA happy. It's cool to see some really well made, delicious lager style beers.
you.
So yeah,
Is that somewhat of a trend? I read that somewhere about lagers, craft lagers being a thing.
well, it's
Becoming a thing.
Things are cyclical, right? So some of us have been drinking lagers all the time, but a lot of people that jump on the bandwagon or that are new to it are real excited about the hops, about the new varieties of hops, which
Yes.
are what I call sexy hops. Everybody wants them, but not everybody can get them, right?
right.
So there's a certain amount of, what should I say? It's hard to get some of those varieties, and that's why we kind of made two different double IPAs instead of changing the recipe of one. Once we dialed it in, well, 2 years ago I only had so much Simcoe,
Right.
where last year I could make a lot more. So it depends on what you can get.
Do you think this is valuable? I saw this on the internet one time.
Yeah, to
It was like the guy who invented the Cicerone program was like you swirl the thing and you hold it in.
Ray Daniels,
The
I
aromas.
think that's his name, yeah.
I know Ray.
You know Ray?
Sure.
Good bloke.
Yeah.
Cheers, Ray.
Cheers, Ray.
As they say in England, up yours.
Oh,
Hey, we say that
get
too.
it. We say,
Oh.
we say get it in.
How do you
Yeah,
say it?
Yeah, up yours. There's
Up yours.
A few other little hey,
Up your hatch.
up your hat. We say get it in ya. Like,
Get it
Get it in
in.
ya.
Oh, hang on.
do
Up
you
yours
say?
was kind of like a
Oh.
FU type
Oh,
of
really?
thing.
I didn't know that.
As you when
That's
you were
what we
kids.
say,
Oh,
yeah.
did you say that too?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so we all did that. Oh, that means just drink it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, we say get it in ya for that.
Get it in you.
Get it in, yeah. So he does, we do 10-second beer reviews on Snapchat, and you review the beer, and you say a few things about it, and then we kind of sign off with like, get it in, yeah. Have
Oh,
a sip
yeah.
of it.
Oh,
Unless you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like it, you can say don't.
Yeah,
get it in.
don't. There's been a few that we said don't, but
Oh,
most
We don't really review bad beer.
we
Don't get it in.
Yeah, don't get it in.
in.
Yeah.
But we like to support.
We hand
craft
select our
breweries.
beers knowing that it's going to be good to start.
I remember
Yeah,
a song, Don't Get Any On You, but that's different. That was a different subject.
Oh wow!
Oh, I'm gonna drink to that one.
Cheers
to keeping it off here.
Let's keep it clean here, boys.
That's not a.
We got children watching. It's a beer podcast.
Lots of children.
So I brought up that special sample of the Pink and Pale.
Pink and Pale, which is this bad boy
Crazy.
here.
Yeah.
So what I do need to do is take a photo of that.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about the Pink and Pale. This
He
the
is
grapefruit.
tenacious.
He's intense.
I don't
I'm
think
a
it's
psychopath,
Yeah,
William.
it's insane.
being able to admit it. That's a good start.
It's an addiction. It's an addiction.
It is an addiction, but
Yeah.
like I want to get to higher
Jane's
numbers.
addiction.
'Cause
So the Pink and Pale was designed to be like the
yeah.
Pale Ale, but
I like that.
grapefruit juice. We like to feed the grapefruit to the beer when it's still fermenting. So hopefully it doesn't come across as sweet, fruity. Just
Not too
dry
crazy.
pucker. Just give me a little
Yeah,
sweetness.
there's a touch of sourness to it as well. I get.
It's and then this is fresh from the fermenter. You poured this straight out of the fermenter, right?
That's as fresh as it gets. We're gonna have to take a
We used
to
a Zwickel.
down and a Zwickel, yeah, a little curly.
Pigtail.
It was cool. You got to see it, Craig. We're
Wow.
gonna do it.
I think we're gonna have to go down
Let's
and
go
check
down.
it out.
Yeah, let's go down.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So here we are down in the cellar at Idletyme.
Sweet.
Yes, we are.
This is awesome.
Cold room in front of you. So there's 8 serving tanks in there.
Okay.
And then we move to kegs, and then we serve them or sell them or whatever. Initially, like a regular brew pub, those were our serving tanks, so we serve from there. But when we bottle, the right pressure to bottle is not necessarily the right pressure to serve upstairs at the bar.
Okay.
So we would kind of mess up their day. So we pull everything onto kegs, and they serve off of kegs, and that means I can go home on the weekend.
Nice.
Because
That's what it's all about.
if you're a bartender in the United States, you should be able to change a keg.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
So right behind us is our fermenter number 5, and that has a lager in it. So all our fermenters have this little slide that comes out here, so when it's fermenting really high, it can ferment out and make a mess on one side instead of on 4 sides.
Very smart.
But we mostly prefer to have a lager in here.
Is there a reason why it's like cube shaped? I've only really ever seen conical style, like kind of.
It's called a fermenting square.
Oh,
I like that.
I've never seen.
America.
In Yorkshire, they're called a Yorkshire square.
Okay.
What? And
But let's...
Is there an advantage? to
Tiffany,
that?
you want to come check this out?
Get in there,
Tiffany, you're gonna want to check this out, Tiffany.
Tiffany. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God,
Oh,
that is
wow.
just sexual.
So just a little bit of hops on the top. Yep, that's the carousing. It's come up and dropped down, and you can see there's just a little bit of hops still left on there because we do a good job of keeping the hops in the
Is it pellet or do you do fresh hops?
pellets.
Pellets, yeah,
But
yeah.
you also, it's a lager, so you smell that classic lager. So lager produces sulfur. So there's a light sulfur flavor I smell that you can smell right now.
Almost
and
like
that,
an eggy.
yeah, and that'll get reabsorbed. It's
Yeah.
pretty subtle. And it comes out of solution easily because they've got a big open vessel.
Okay.
So it's breathing out.
Right.
All the open fermenters, they're protected from the, something just ambient falling into them.
Right.
And hopefully the yeast takes over and does all the rest.
Okay.
So in here, we've got another 4 fermenters, and we're filtering beer, and that's what I gotta get back to. So on my far right is the heat exchanger, where Josh will send the double bock beer. Once he finishes with a boil, he'll send it over to his fermenter that's clean and sanitized. So 4 fermenters along the wall, the conditioning tanks. And then let's keep moving. Let's walk into,
Let's do it.
welcome to Will's World.
Nice.
Will's World.
Watch it.
There's that hum.
Especially Tiffany. You come right in, Tiff. Okay, so we're in the cooler here. Let me see if I can turn off the blower so you might be able to hear.
Oh, I like that. It's a ruler right there. Just belted
So this
it.
is where we came before
Yes.
Thank you.
when you had your...
The pink and
A
pale.
little pigtail. Yeah, this is right out from
Oh,
the.
babe, get this.
Get in there, Tiff. Get in there.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's how we get a carbonated beer out, but we just make it slow down the speed. And
That's amazing.
you want to try that? I think you tried it before.
Sure I am. Is this a pink and pale?
That's the Pink and Pale right
That's
out of
as
the tank.
fresh as it gets, mate.
You want to try a different beer?
Do I want to try a different beer? Do you know me, William? I guess you do now.
I knew that was a... The answer was yes.
You know what? Yeah.
All right,
We
let's-
didn't come all the way to Vermont to try one beer. What's this beer?
This is the brown ale.
Oh,
Which makes Daddy's wife very happy.
Damn right it
He
does.
hopes. So
Now you're gonna
it's a
make
good
me
batch
review
of
this.
brown.
All right.
There's an English yeast in that one,
take a
so you
look.
might get some English characteristics
Hold the
out of
beer
that.
up. Get a photo. You
guys
know,
are-
It's insane, right?
look, I'm crazy.
You don't need paparazzi. It's just like you're your own paparazzi. Here, I'll hold that. Here you
Thanks,
go.
Will. Look, you're in charge right now.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
How you feel having a podcast, Will?
Well, your levels are kind of high, but it's all right.
Oh,
Okay, it's not my problem. Will.
Yeah,
It's my brother. That's Notion's problem.
That's the engineer's problem.
What's his name?
His name's Brad.
Oh,
Say hi to Brad.
hi,
Hey, Brad, how you doing, buddy? You're going to be listening to this
I think
soon.
he called you Nosha or something like that.
Notion is his rap name.
His
Oh,
rap
his
name,
Notion.
yeah. We all have...
Like I've got a Notion.
we don't
Scott, you have one?
I don't have one, no. I'm Scott Beer Cole. That's it.
My rap name is Spilly.
Oh!
Nice.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, probably
Can
not
you
go.
spit some bars? Or?
Well, I got a 6 foot wingspan. And
Oh!
I'll probably knock your beer over. So it's Spilly.
This is lovely. This is...
I like that. Can you
We
tell
were
us about the
talking-
Brad?
I even
Yeah.
turned the cooler off for you so you could see what was
Yeah.
going on. So brown ale, it's a English yeast comes through.
Okay, this is great. This is
unbelievable. Yeah, this is really cool.
cool little.
Welcome to my world. Usually I have more clothes on that because it's 34
It's a little
degrees.
bit here.
Definitely in here.
Oh yeah, Fahrenheit, 34 degrees. That means nothing to me. I guess it's 32 degrees is 0
Yes,
Celsius, right? So it means it's pretty bloody cold.
Yeah, it's probably 6 in here, 4 or 6.
What's the best place for people to find Idletyme online?
Oh, probably.
Isn't it Idletyme Brewing?
IdletymeBrewing.com, I
Yeah.
guess, is probably the best thing.
And I believe it's at Idletyme Brewing on Instagram, potentially Facebook and Twitter as well.
Yeah, I think so. You're Canadian. You're shivering.
I'm Australian.
You're shivering around.
I'm not from Canada. I'm not from Canada, so you know.
All right, you got thin blood. You were just down
Thin
the
blood.
islands, weren't you?
Yeah, a little while ago. So
Islands, so
in the winter though,
your blood is all thin from that.
super thin. It's ridiculous.
Maybe you'll get to go to Jamaica someday.
Yeah, if someone takes me.
One day.
Someone takes me.
If you
Not.
guys are ever in Stowe, Vermont, please do yourself a favor. Come visit Idletyme. If you're skiing, great place for après ski.
Yep.
Huge range of beers from lagers to ales to everything. Come say hi to Will. He may give you a hug. He may not, depending on
May
how
not.
he feels that
Yep,
particular
we got
day.
3 breweries close by too. You
Maybe
can
if
bike
you
to all 3. You can bike up to the Trap Brewery.
Yeah.
I suggest starting there because it's a big steep hill, serpentine down, and you can come
yeah.
and see us
Yep.
at Idletyme and go see our friends at the Alchemist and the Bermuda Triangle of Stowe.
I love that. That's where you need to be. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Review us. And what's the other thing? Rate on iTunes. And of course, follow us at BAOS Podcast everywhere. And make sure you definitely hit up at Idletyme Brewing
And I
everywhere.
can't believe you've been watching us for an hour.
Yeah, like,
Down, make it a little more.
get a life.
15 minutes.
Get a
Really,
life,
though.
guys. It's insane. Thanks, Will. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Cheers,
You are
cheers,
the man.
yeah, travel.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah,
Cheers.
have fun down south.
Thanks. Peace.